Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to talk about 4 key body systems and how they're affected by smoking. There's the respiratory, circulatory, endocrine, and urinary system. Let's get started with Liam.
The endocrine system is responsible for cell growth, and the fundamental components of the system are hormones and glands. Hormones transfer info and the instructions from one set of cells to another. Glands select and remove substances from the blood process them, and then are used and somewhere in the body. Some major glands are the pyrethroid, and thyroid.
Thanks, Liam. Now, Matt, what is the urinary system all about?
The body takes nutrients from food and converts them into energy. After all the needed food is taken, waste products are left behind. The urinary system takes this waste and urea from the blood, but keeps chemicals such as sodium, potassium, and water.
So, Matt, what do our kidneys, bladder, and nerves do?
Well, Michael, the kidneys regulate your blood pressure and the production of erythropoietin, among other things. And they regulate the salt in our blood. Our bladder is a triangular-shaped hollow organ in our lower abdomen that holds our urine. And the nerves, they tell us when to empty our bladder because there's too much urine in there.
Well, Michael, the cardiovascular system can't function properly if a person smokes. When a person smokes, their blood pressure raises and heart rate. In addition to that, cardiac output is lowered and blood flow is reduced because the organs can't function properly. With high blood pressure, there is much higher cause of getting a blood clot, which can be very harmful. Finally, blood flow to the brain is reduced in the body of a smoker, and this has led to clinical depression and psychological distress. So in the end, smoking can lead to death in various different ways.
Now, I'll talk about the respiratory system. Well, air is taken in through the nostrils and warmed in the sinuses. Air then continues down your throat, or pharynx, as the scientists call it, and through your gullet to your larynx. The windpipe then splits into 2 bronchi, one to each lung, and then the air travels to the lungs. In the lungs, you'll find alveoli, which are tiny multi-lobed air sacs where gases are exchanged. There are also capillaries, which are extremely small blood vessels that transport blood from arteries to veins. The respiratory system is vital because the oxygen brought in through the system makes the other 3 we've discussed possible.
Thanks, Michael. But how does smoking affect the respiratory system?
Well, when a person smokes, there's a lining in your windpipe called pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium, and this is destroyed. This lining is essential for breathing as air travels down your windpipe. Once the epithelium is broken down, the lungs eventually become unprotected and can't function properly. So smoking basically breaks down the entire respiratory system, which will then prevent other systems from working properly. Dillon, how exactly does smoking affect the cardiovascular system?
Sure, Michael. Cardiovascular system basically makes sure that all the bones and muscles get the right amount of oxygen. It takes oxygen from lungs and moves it throughout our bodies. This is carried out by blood flowing through our veins, which contains oxygen, hormones, and enzymes. Chemicals pass through the cardiovascular system, eventually reach our urinary system, and help the process of decomposing. The system needs the heart, lungs, and veins to function properly.
Thanks for the background, Dillon. That also shows that we must have our respiratory system working properly for the cardiovascular system to work as well. So Matt, what does smoking do to our urinary system?
Toxic chemicals from tobacco are absorbed into the body and they move through our body and to our kidneys and our urine. This breaks down our urinary system as it sits in the kidneys and the bladder. The harmful substances become concentrated in these areas and can lead to bladder cancer as it breaks down. In fact, smokers are at more than twice the risk than non-smokers to get bladder cancer in their lifetime. So smoking can damage the urinary system, which could then hurt the rest of the body in several different ways.
Thank you, Matt, for the great overview of the urinary system. Finally, Leon, please tell us how smoking will affect the endocrine system.
Sure. Smoking decreases important hormones which are part of the endocrine system. One result is that smoking will alter the hormonal regulation of body fat, which basically means that a person can gain or lose large amounts of fat while smoking. This can happen somewhat quickly, or over a long period of time. From a more general perspective, smoking can lead to various types of cancer within your glands and the rest of the endocrine system. Smoking can, and usually will, result in one or more of these sometimes fatal diseases.
Thanks. That's everything you have to know about the endocrine, respiratory, circulatory, and urinary systems.